Imagine this: streets empty, quiet, as if the whole town had frozen. But inside the houses, a storm was brewing. The smell of roasting meat, children laughing, adults whispering, secrets and traditions passed down for generations. What really happened in British homes every Sunday after the war? Why was this day both cozy and strict, joyful and a little intimidating? I'm about to show you a world that's almost forgotten, a world where every sound, every smell, every little detail had its own rule and meaning. You'll see how simple rituals, a Sunday lunch, a walk, the radio, became a kind of mystery, a secret code of an entire era. And I promise you, some of these stories will shock you. Some called it peace. Others called it a trap for children and adults alike. But what was it really? What laws, habits, and tiny secrets were hidden behind closed doors? And why did this day leave a mark on entire generations? Stay with me until the end, and I'll reveal all these secrets. You'll hear details you won't find in history books, see unexpected contradictions, funny and tense moments. Everything that made Sundays in 1950s Britain so unique and unforgettable. Don't go anywhere. You won't believe what lies behind the quiet streets and the smell of roasting meat. The smell of roast always appeared before anyone could even ask what was for lunch. It slowly spread through the house, slipping under doors, climbing stairs, pulling children away from their games, making them peek into the kitchen as if by accident. Sauces bubbled on the stove, dough rose in the oven, and trays of golden potatoes demanded attention every few minutes. In those hours, the house came alive, as if the whole week existed just for this moment. The table was set with special care. Even if the plates were chipped, they were used today, as if every item had a role in the Sunday ritual. Everyone in the household gathered. Parents, children, even neighbors who popped in for just a minute and stayed until tea. It wasn't just a meal, it was one of the rare times when nobody had anywhere to rush. As the adults chatted about the week, children searched for a chance to grab a roast potato unnoticed, pretending not to hear their names called in a firm tone. A gentle hum of the radio filled the room, plates clinked in rhythm with laughter, and even those usually on the sidelines became part of the rhythm. For a brief moment, everything seemed perfectly ordered, as if the world itself slowed down to give people a chance to be together. That sense of warmth and togetherness was so natural that nobody realized how fragile it was. One Sunday after another, families gathered around the table, and over time, it became a quiet anchor that one only notices years later. And then, just as the last crumbs disappeared from the table, a special moment arrived. Everyone knew what was coming next without a word. The radio switched on almost automatically, part of a larger chain of habits. Its warm, steady voice filled the room as reliably as the smells from the kitchen had moments before. No one chose the program. It had already been chosen for them. That was its power. One sound, one focus, one shared space. Children stretched out on the carpet by the fireplace, seeking the warmest spot. Adults settled into chairs, some drifting into light dozes, others chuckling quietly at a joke on the radio. The announcers' voices were so familiar they felt like family, visiting every Sunday without invitation, always just in time. They created a sense of choice without choice, just listen and be part of the moment. Music replaced conversation, conversation replaced short stories, lifting the house slightly with every note. No one checked the time, no one skipped programs. The flow set its own rhythm. And that rhythm tied everyone in the room together more tightly than words ever could. It became an invisible bridge between the meal, rest, and the quiet that slowly filled the house. In those hours, there was no rush, no distraction. People simply listened, and in that listening, they created a rare form of unity that seems almost impossible today. Long before the first dish hit the table or the radio played, Sunday morning had already set its own rhythm. It didn't begin with clocks but with sounds impossible to ignore. Deep, resonant church bells ringing across the streets. They seemed to gather people from different houses in one place, reminding everyone that Sunday wasn't just about meals or rest, but also about belonging, whether consciously felt or not. Children woke earlier than usual, not out of choice, but because they were lifted, washed, combed, and lined up while buttons were fastened. The clothes reserved for this single day of the week made everyone a little more serious than during the work week. There was something ceremonial in them, though familiar, as if each child became part of an old photograph that existed before they were born. On the way to church, people greeted each other as though they met every day, not once a week. Inside, it was always slightly cool, but that didn't diminish the warmth of being together. Songs rose under the arches, filling the space slowly, and even those who sang softly became part of a collective voice, blending into a smooth wave. After the service, the morning transformed into a lively, moving conversation. Adults stopped at gates, shared news, commented on the weather as if it were the main event of the week. Children ran about, struggling to stay in their Sunday best. Even those who didn't step inside became part of the morning cycle. The bells made them involuntary participants. This morning set the foundation for the day, measured, slightly strict, but wonderfully uniting. It gave a feeling that Sunday wasn't just a day off, it was a quiet agreement between people, place, and time. After lunch and the morning rituals, families inevitably went outside, as if the air itself nudged them forward. It didn't matter if it was sunny or drizzly, the walk happened regardless. Coats went on, scarves were adjusted, and the calm character of Sunday unfolded outdoors. Steps were hesitant at first. Children dragged their feet, parents nudged them with gentle words. Someone fussed with a button, another shielded a pram from the wind. But after a few minutes, the fuss melted away. Streets widened, breaths deepened, and conversations slowed. The movement seemed to carry the family into a different state where nobody rushed. In the parks, pram wheels left neat tracks on gravel. Small groups of ducks seemed to wait for visitors, and swings creaked gently in the breeze. Paths twisted between trees, letting children run ahead like explorers. Parents sometimes adjusted their route to pass familiar houses, exchange a few words with neighbors, or simply feel they belonged. These walks had no dramatic events, just repeating simplicity that, over time, became memory. People walked together, noticing little things, sharing silence and short conversations, allowing small treats like ice cream on sunny days. Even when children grumbled and adults pretended not to hear, these slow moments were the threads quietly binding families together. As the afternoon progressed, Sunday shifted. It was as if someone turned down the volume of the world, leaving only the soft echo of life. Shops stayed closed, streets nearly empty, creating a calm but strict atmosphere. Adults accepted it. Children felt it sharply. They wanted noise, games, freedom, but nearly everything had an unspoken "keep it quiet today" rule. Inside homes, life continued at a slower pace. Board games were set up, books were read, windows watched the rare passerby. This quiet could soothe or feel endless, stretched between lunch and the next day. But it was this quiet that made Sunday special, as if time folded neatly without rushing. By mid-afternoon, the streets stirred a little. Sports enthusiasts ventured out. Rules were often confusing, almost otherworldly. Professional matches banned, but a simple game on a green lawn allowed. Some activities were fine, others too noisy. Boys still tried to sneak a kick of the ball until warned. People gathered on benches, exchanged news, marveled at the strange logic, and continued life within its bounds, sometimes smiling at the absurdity. Over time, these rules sparked questions. Should Sundays stay so strict? Some public figures advocated change. Others insisted that quiet and restraint made the day special. Debates appeared in newspapers, meetings, and shop queues, part of a larger conversation about society. The young wanted freedom. The older generation wanted tradition. Every Sunday became a small stage where two eras met. Then evening came, and all arguments dissolved in the soft glow of lamps. Houses became the center of the world again. Fires crackled, the air smelled of warm drinks and fresh slices of sweet treats. Families gathered around the radio once more, quieter, calmer, as if the day nudged them to finish together. Children took warm baths, hair dried by the fire, school clothes laid out for Monday. Adults exchanged brief phrases, not for lack of words, but because the evening itself was filled with calm. These hours had a unique tone, a mix of comfort, reflection, and a quiet anticipation of the next day. Sunday slowly slipped into night, folding into a complete, recognizable story that couldn't be mistaken for any other day of the week. When the lights dimmed, the streets emptied, and homes settled into twilight, Sunday became a memory that lingered longer than any workday. Quiet streets, empty parks, faint bell chimes, and the smell of coal, all stitched together a unique fabric of time. Simple moments, shared meals, soft walks, laughter, gentle music left a mark for years. Even the restrictions that once annoyed children were now seen differently, a rhythm, a structure, a frame in which the world felt ordered rather than chaotic. In these subtle details, nostalgia was born, making Sunday both cozy and strict, calm and unforgettable. Sundays of the past were different for everyone, a comforting refuge for some, a strict test of rules for others, but for all a unique part of time. Remembering them shows that the past never truly disappears. It lives in memory, habits, scents, the soft toll of bells, and the small joys that make a day feel real.